In the beginning, God said. Doesn't omnipotent, omniscient, all-powerful being need to say anything to create something? And if not, then why say anything at all? And what's up with the markers of the days being evening and morning was the first day? I mean, that's not how we would say it. We would say morning and evening was the first day. And these questions, they're meant to incite something in us. It's meant to capture our attention. See, a lot of times in Jewish tradition, the way they would teach is they would put anomalies in there in order to catch your attention, in order to draw out the question, because behind the question is a discovery. And doesn't God do this as well? I mean, the whole thing that Jesus came and he spoke to them in parables. These simple stories that have profound meaning, but they're meant to provoke you to discovery. It's the treasure hidden in the field. Are you going to dig for it? I find those things fascinating. Recently, I was following this rabbi and trying to listen to them. And one of the things they said was, everything you need to know about God, you can know within the first 11 chapters of Genesis. I thought, what a fascinating statement. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but what I did was I went back to the beginning, to the creation story, in order to try to unpack what can we learn about God even in these early moments. And one of the first things that I saw there was, in the beginning, God created. So we know we're dealing with someone who is creative, artistic. Do you see God in that light? Or do you see him as an accountant? He's an artist. He creates. And sometimes we miss that, but there's beauty in it. And not only that, in the creation story itself, you have this poem. It's called a chiasm. And I just want to read with you real quick. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So we know God now is not only a creator, but he's also a spirit. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and God saw the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. You see these things repeat. So anytime you have repetition in there, it's meant to get your attention also. Pay attention to these things. So God is a creator. He is a spirit. And God speaks. God said, and God said, and God said. You're going to see that repeated over and over and over. The other thing you see, like I said before, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day. The darkness he called night. God is calling things. He's naming things. This is going to be important. And there was evening and there was morning, the first day. Why did God want us to know that evening and morning was the first day, not morning and evening? So as we go through the series on Genesis, we're going to be unpacking question after question. And hopefully what's going to happen is you're going to see new sides of God. And today, one of the things I want to get into is this idea that God said. He spoke. Why speak? Why do we speak? Isn't it in order to be heard? So God is communicating. He's speaking, but to who? Is he speaking for all time so that we would hear? And what's the point of speaking and communicating? Is it not so that you can connect? I mean, that's why I'm talking to you. I'm hoping that the things that I have can be given to you, that you'll hear them, they will connect with you, they will move you. You'll be able to share something that I have. And if you're sharing something that I have, then we bond together. And so here at the very beginning, God is like, he doesn't have to speak, but he chooses to speak in order to be heard, in order to connect. And if that's what the point of this whole thing is, then there is a God who desires relationship. And he's inviting you to know something about him. So, In John chapter 10, verse 3, he says, "My sheep hear my voice." Are you hearing him? Because he's speaking. And his words are written all around you. They're written in the creation. They're captured in this, the Holy Bible. He speaks. He's a God that speaks, that desires to connect, desires to have a relationship, and desires to share. So my challenge to you today is, as you're going throughout the day, listen. Like Jesus said, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. And ask God, would you help me to hear you today? That's my challenge to you. May you have a blessed day listening to the Lord.